A very good day to you guys. I hope you are doing very well. Today we'll be doing functions, but before we can continue the lesson, I would like to thank those who subscribe to the channel and those who are subscribing. As you are watching this video, if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe to the channel, like, share, and do not forget to hit the notification bell so that you can be notified when we upload a new video or a new lesson. So today we'll be doing types of functions, and we're going to take you or explaining to you these two types of functions: a one-to-one function and a many-to-one function. So the most or the very important thing that you must know, guys, is that whenever, since we are having the major or the topic called, or the concept called, function. So under functions we have different types of graphs, right? But now we're going to talk about the types of functions we are having. We are having a one-to-one functions and a many-to-one functions. So if there are two things that are being compared, it's very important for you to know their differences. So when you talk about a one-to-one function, since it says one-to-one function, you must have one thing and another thing, that when we mix those things or when we combine those things, we are having a one-to-one function. So you must write this down. So a one-to-one function, it's a function having a single y value to a single x value. Then a many-to-one function, it is a function having many x values to a single y value. All right, before we can continue, let's just talk about a vertical line test. Actually, we are having two line tests, which is a horizontal line test and a vertical line test. So it's very important. These two things, they help you to know which function it's a one-to-one function and if a graph is a function or not. Okay, so a vertical line test, it's a line that is used to determine if a graph is a function, meaning that a graph cannot can be a function or it cannot be a function. So the only way to do this, or to check if a graph is a function, you just draw a vertical line test. Then if that line or vertical line it touches the graph once, then the graph is a function. But if it touches the graph twice or many times, it means that that graph, it's not a function. I don't know if you understand that. It's very important. We have a horizontal line test. So it's a line that is used to determine the type of a function a graph represents. So this one, it doesn't determine if a graph is a function, but it determines the type of a function a graph might be representing. So for you to know if or for you to use a horizontal line test, you just draw a horizontal line. If a line touches the graph once, then it means that that graph is a one-to-one function. But if it touches the graph twice, it means that that graph is a many-to-one function. So you must know how to differentiate between these two line tests. Vertical line test is used to determine if a graph is a function. Then horizontal line test, it is used to determine the type of a function a graph is representing, or a graph that a type of function that the graph represents. Suppose you are given that graph that you see on your screen, then they want you to determine what type of, they want you to determine if this graph is a function and what type of a function, and you must provide a reason why you're saying it's a function and why are you saying it's a one-to-one or it's a many-to-one function. Now the first thing for you to do, remember, before you can use a horizontal line test, start by using a vertical line test. Now, when I use a vertical line test, remember a vertical line test is used to determine if a graph is a function. Remember, we said that earlier, when the vertical line test that you drew, or the drawn vertical line test, when it touches the graph once, it means that graph becomes what? It becomes a function. So this graph, it is a function. But what type of a function is this graph representing? representing. That is when we will use a horizontal line test. You can see that the horizontal line test touched the graph once, or it touched the graph at one point, meaning it is a one-to-one function. So why are we saying that this is a function? It is because the graph or the vertical line test touched the graph once. So that's the reason we are saying this graph is a function. But now, what type of a function is this graph representing? It represents a one-to-one function. Why? Because the horizontal line test touched the graph at one point or once. I don't know if you guys are understanding what I am saying here. All right, let's check the second example. Then, this is a Cartesian plane. Okay, we don't know what type of a function does this graph represent, or this graph is representing. The first thing is, before you can use the vertical line, the horizontal line test, make sure that you use the vertical line test. You can see that the line touched the graph once, right? Since it touched the graph once, it means it is a function. But what type of a function? For us to get the type of function, remember we use what? A horizontal line test. Since it touched the graph here and there, it means that this graph, it is a many to one function. Because the graph touched, the horizontal line test touched the graph 2 times. So before you can use a vertical line, the horizontal line test, start by using the vertical line test. Let me say you have something that looks like this. We use the vertical line test to prove it's a graph, if a graph is a function. Therefore, since it touched the graph once, it means that this graph is a function. But what type of a function is this graph representing? Just draw a horizontal line test to prove what type of a function is this graph representing. So it touched the graph 2 times, meaning since it touched the graph 2 times, it's a many to one function. Okay. Let me just draw this. It's a graph, but we don't know what type of a graph it is. So we use the word a vertical line test to prove if this graph is a function. So since the vertical line test, it touched the graph 2 times, it means that it is not a function. It is not a function. So since it is not a function, we don't have to use the horizontal line test, because the horizontal line test, it is used to determine the type of a function the graph represents. So since it is not a function, we cannot use a vertical line test. So since it is not a function, what is it becoming, or what is it called when it is not a function? It is called a relation. What is a relation? It is when we are having many or 2 y values to a single x values. But when we talk about a many to one, we are talking about a function having many x values to a single y values. To a single y value. Okay, let me just make you to understand this thing, what a relation is. Let me say we are having this graph. We draw a vertical line test to prove if it's a function or not. So since the graph since the horizontal line test touched the graph 2 times, it means that it is not a function. Why are we saying it is not a function? So since it is not a function, it is called a relation. So what is a relation? It is when the graph, or what are the requirements for us to have a relation? It is when a graph actually touches, the vertical line test touches the graph 2 times. So we say it's a relation because it has 2 y values to a single x value. But a many to one function like this, a many to one function, you can see that we are having 2 points where we are having a, let me first use this one. This is a vertical line test, right? You touch the graph once, meaning that this graph is a function, but what type of a function? It is a many to one. Alright, look at this, differentiate these two. Check, the horizontal line test touch the graph 2 times, meaning that we are having two x values to a single y value. But here, as you can see that the vertical line test touch the graph 2 times, meaning it is not a function. Why it is not a function? Because the graph now represents two y values to a single x values, and it becomes a relation. So for us to have a function, we must have two x values to a single y value, not two y values to a single x value. I don't know if you understand that. So it is called a relation. It is called a relation. We'll discuss about it in more details when we do inverses. Because that graph that I just drew, this one here, it is called the inverse of this graph. But we are not just there. We'll do the second part of functions. So now this is the first part. Please make sure that you subscribe, you like, share, you comment. Do not forget to hit the notification bell so that you can be notified when we upload new videos. Let me just give you this one. So for us to prove if it's a function, remember the first thing for you to do is to use the vertical line test first. Why am I saying that? It's because let me say you are having this type of a graph. Let me say you're having this type of a graph, then you use a horizontal line test before you using the vertical line test. You will say this is a many to one function, yet this is not a function. Why I might say this is not a function? Why? Because the vertical line test touches the graph 2 times, meaning that before you can use the horizontal line test, start by using the vertical line test. Because this one, it tells you if a graph is a function. Then after you discover that this graph is a function, you use a horizontal line test, which will determine for you the type of a function the graph is representing. I don't know if you understand that. Before using the horizontal line test, make sure that you use the vertical line test. So the next part that we'll be doing, it will be called inverses. Inverses. So make sure, guys, that you hit the notification bell so that you can be notified when we upload new videos. Since we are our next video, it will be inverse functions or inverses. So please make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel so that it can grow bigger and help other people as it helped you. Thank you, guys.